Hey guys, I am so glad you are back. Behavior Strategies for Class. This is where we empower educators with effective behavior management strategies that work so you can do your job and teach with the least amount of disruptions possible, right? This is our goal to empower you. And today, you're going to learn some wellness tips from a dear person of mine. He is my son's friend who lived with us when he was in high school, and it's just been so great to watch him grow and flourish. And he is now finishing out his chiropractic school, and he is also opening his own business, Logical Wellness. He has been into wellness like ever since I've known him, and nutrition and fitness and all of those things. And so today we're going to talk about how does that benefit your students? How can that help your students strive to be the best that they can be in wellness, in mindset, in nutrition? And of course, some of that you don't have control over, right? The nutrition, sometimes with their lunch, their snacks, the candy, the junk food, all of that fun stuff. But he has some practical tips that you can incorporate in the classroom to encourage your students to do better, to want to do better, to want to be better physically and emotionally. So you'll want to stay tuned and get those tips. So hang on. Welcome to Behavior Strategies for Class. I am Diane Bachman, your behavior paraprofessional with over 15 years of experience working in special education. And I'm so glad you're here because I'll be teaching you about social emotional learning, behavior strategies, trauma-informed care, and more. So if you are tired of being frustrated and not knowing what to do with your students who have challenging and disruptive behavior, you're in the right place. Now, if you're ready to become more equipped to help your students learn and grow, let's listen in to today's episode. But as always, before we get started, hit that subscribe button. Share this episode podcast with other educators so we continue to learn and grow with each other. And also, check out the show notes. There are some links there that you can get on the wait list for the new Become a Behavior Pro online course. And this course is designed for teachers, school professionals, that is evidence-based. And this will help you understand the root causes of disruptive behavior. You will learn how to apply proactive classroom management techniques that reduce stress and improve your students' outcome. You will build a toolbox of behavior intervention strategies for emotional regulation and impulse control. So whether you're dealing with student defiance, meltdowns, or inattention, this course will provide clear, compassionate solutions. And this was created for you. So become the educator who responds with skill and not stress. Get that link in the show notes so that you will be the first one to know when this goes live. So let's get to my interview with Mario Lodge. Welcome, guys, to Behavior Strategies for Class. Today, I have a special guest. He is my bonus son, and he is going to share what he is up to with logical wellness today. So, welcome, Mario.
Hey everybody, so glad to have you here. Thank you, Diane. I'm excited. Today, we actually got a pretty good episode today. So I hear it's the start of school for most of you kids. So I actually just wanted to give you guys three beautiful tips that I can hopefully give you some much needed steam going into the school year. So it's the beginning of the school year. new friends, new class, new challenges. Some of us, we've still got the same friends that were always going to be there. That might not always be the case. So, today, let's put the spin on wellness and how we can transform this new year for you. And I think the first tip will actually set you up for the most success beyond just this school year. And we're going to talk to you about what do you value? What's our dreams? What's the goal that we're setting for this school year? Is it to be consistent and show up every day, get the perfect attendance award? Maybe it's just to be the highest performer in that class and get straight A's. Maybe honestly, it's just to show up, it's just to get up early and on time so you're not being a drag to your parents. I was that kid right there, waking up 5 minutes before it was time to be there, rolling in 20 minutes before class. It still happens now in
That
college,
was me.
so don't worry. Yeah, it's very tough. But that goal you set for yourself dictates a lot of things for you. Shows you, okay, what are the steps that I need to do to enact and get this goal of mine? How do I have to gear my behavior towards becoming the person that I'm seeing by attaining this goal? And that is a very useful skill set because you can take that anywhere. You can take that into your next time when you go into middle school because then it just compounds. You can take that into if you guys are starting to play sports this year or, man, utilizing it in your relationships. How can I be the best son, the best daughter, the best friend, right? All of this shows the goals that you set in your mind for yourself and for others, right? Wellness is more about how am I being well to myself, and it's not just in the physical aspects. We're also starting to look at how we can tailor things to our mental and emotional states. And it's very easy for us to get into the middle of the school year and we're all beleaguered on, man, it's week 3 and I already feel like this is dragging on, right? I've had that happen so many times. I mean, I'm in week 14 now of my chiropractic program, and it is like drawing nails along a chalkboard to get me to even take my finals.
Yeah.
So this is coming from experience, you guys. It's very hard. It's I almost want to say it's more so a thing of finding something you value for yourself and let that carry you along the weeks and write it down. Like it's it's very easy for you to miss things when you just say it in your mind. But having something concrete written down, whether it's on a notepad, whether it's on your backpack, whether it's on a sticky note that you put on the fridge, or whether it's on your palm of your hand, and I promise when they get sweaty, it's going to come off. So maybe write it down like on your room wall. Hey, I want to succeed in this. Hey, I want to make sure this happens. And then every day look at that, see it, start to internalize it, verbalize it. Every day you get up. If it needs to be in the mirror, put it in the mirror. If it needs to be on the dashboard of your parents' car, like make sure they see it. And then 2, when we get into lesson part 2, this is where it also comes into play. Like have somebody teach you how to be accountable. Whether that's your friend, you have a great resource in the classroom with you. Let that be your teacher. They have all the skills that you want to develop. I promise you. I know it may not seem like it at times. There's plenty of times where, golly, it may not even show, but I promise you, they want to believe in you more than you probably believe in yourself. And that's a good nugget for teachers too. Is it's more to show that you care for the kids, but be there intently and encourage them in a way that like shows them that man, somebody's actually pouring more into me than I'm pouring into myself.
Yeah.
It's that little value of accountability that we need as humans to grow and be successful in everything that we're doing, right? So point 2.
Exactly. And so, I
Yeah,
mean, a practical tip also would be, this could be like within the first couple weeks of school and having kids journal, like you said, write it down. Be intentional on how they want this year to go.
yeah,
And so having the teachers be able to set aside, I mean, even 5 minutes, to have students really think about how do I want this year to go? How can I be successful? And then, like you said, what are the steps that I need to do that?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
I make my lunch the night before? Do I set out my clothes the night before? Do I already know, where my backpack is, where my shoes are, where, all of those things. Those are the practical steps that they can use to achieve. And so maybe as, the teachers, you can share maybe some of, the steps that you take in the morning, to make sure that you're there on time. And, you probably have the same, like I do the same. I don't always set out my clothes, but I have my lunch packed, like my coffee's ready, I just have to hit that on button, you know, um, I have my charger out for my phone, all of these things, making sure I have enough gas in my car so I don't have to stop in the morning because I'll probably be running a little behind. All of these little things, like what works for you, that you can be the example again and show your students, guys, this is what I have to do every day to be here for you. What can you do at home to help set yourself? Like you said, those are great tips, writing it down in a journal, putting it on a post-it, either in the car or right by the front door to be like, do you have your backpack? Do you have this? Do you have that? Those are great ideas to help set them up and get their mind working and thinking ahead to achieve what they're thinking, what they're desiring. So those are
You
great. What are some other
said it
tips?
so beautifully there. And I'm going to add on a little nugget here.
Yes.
If you really want true accountability for this in the classroom, like let that be the first assignment you do in the first week. Like, hey, we're going to set a goal that I want everybody to think of that they want to accomplish in this school year with me, and we're going to write it down on this piece of paper, and we're going to put it on the wall. And every day that
Yeah,
student comes
that's
in,
good
I
too.
want you, I want you to either put a checkbox that said, "Hey, I'm moving towards this," or don't put a check mark there if you don't move towards it. And then you can start to see when I'm consistent. God, it's almost like somebody did this in a journal, shameless plug, about the journal that you made, right? It's
Yeah, the student behavior
can I
journal. Uh-huh.
can I feasibly see the behaviors that are either bringing me towards this goal or that are pushing me away from this goal?
Yes.
So eloquently said. I love it. It's almost like you thought about that when you were building this behavior school journal.
Well, and sometimes like it's great, obviously, to have that year goal.
Yes.
But sometimes it's hard to see how you are getting closer, right? So that's why in the journal, I just created like weekly goals, especially with behaviors, because sometimes like I mean, you have your good days, your bad days, your okay days, but what can I do just today? Sometimes for students, it's like just today. What can I see to make it today, and that could be also, the wellness, the emotional, the mental, academically. Like what can you do today just to sometimes for kids it's just to survive, right? They're just surviving. They just want to make it through the day without getting in trouble or, being behind in something. So sometimes it's kind of whittling it back down to, okay, yes, this is my big goal, but how can we break it down, especially at the elementary level, right? Because, they can't really think past, lunchtime
I was
sometimes.
like, yeah, I'm barely learning my colors back then. Like when you take a full step
Yeah,
back, like golly, multiplication tables. I'm still terrified of that. Don't worry. Like all that
right,
that never goes away. That actually is really good because the next step is like how do you challenge yourself to
right.
grow, right? And I mean, golly, looking back then, it was can I even make it to PE? can can I even make it to lunch? I just the act of trying to be social enough to go around to doing things
Oh, yeah.
was so hard for me. And that might be, I mean, I hope I'm not the only person in the world, although I do feel like I am the only person that struggles with social interactions.
I don't think
But it
so.
was it was learning how to challenge myself and learning to be very uncomfortable with that comfort, right? So you might be the kid who's like, man, I don't know how to talk to people. I'm not gonna have any friends. Like nobody ever sits next to me.
Yeah.
Okay, get up and go talk to somebody. challenge yourself. Go up against the grid and be like, hey, can I actually hold myself to this new value that I've just set, this goal? And like you said, you want to break it down into smaller steps. Challenge yourself to learning your multiplication tables. Challenge yourself to being like, hey, I'm actually going to help my parents make this a little easier on me. I'm going to help my teacher out. And I'm recalled to a mentor of mine who taught me the power of one more. And
Oh,
that's to always challenge yourself by doing one more, right? Big
uh-huh.
shout out to Ed Milat for that
Ed
thought there.
Milet. Yeah.
And it's okay, well, it's not good enough to just say, I want to be in class on time. You challenge yourself to go one more step beyond that to make that an actual step. Like, hey, I want to be 5 minutes on time to class. Like, I want to show up and help the teacher. Hey, I want to stay behind afterwards to make sure that I understood that assignment a little bit more. Hey, I'm going to ask one more question to bring clarity. And the cool
Huh.
thing that I didn't learn back then being in class was you all are learning together. I didn't think that was the
That's
case. I
good.
thought we were all learning individually.
Right.
So if I had a question, I was afraid to ask it. I didn't want to challenge myself because I was like, everybody else already understands this. Why would I need to ask that? So never mind, I'm just not going to ask it. And then I would get
Huh.
the worst grade on the class because like I wasn't asking a question that would have led to my better understanding, right?
Right.
That one more step if I would have taken would have possibly like answered everything for everybody else.
Yeah.
And what I see, at least at this level with professionals, is it's it's very community driven, right? We are all
Right.
trying to sharpen each other at this level, and it's been that way the whole case.
Right.
So, what are you challenging yourself for, right? Are you just showing up to class just to be there? That's okay. You can. Am I showing up to class to have fun with my friends? That's also okay too, right? It's a
Yeah.
very social environment.
That's why I was there.
You know, I wasn't blessed to have that many friends back then, so it was like I just want to be here. So I am just around people because I don't like to be by myself, right? Being the youngest in a household, it's like my siblings were so older they didn't want to hang out with their kid brother, right? Oh, he's too
Uh-huh.
lame. He can't do anything. So for me, it was okay. The challenge I found in trying to learn new things, trying to get better at reading, trying to be better at art, trying to be better at physical education. If kids still even have that class nowadays, right? It's finding that aspect that you really want to grow into because I promise you, like building that desire and that want to challenge yourself to be better, to grow into that goal that you set, that is going to build the confidence that you're going to need in the
Yeah.
later stages of your life. And right now, I promise you, it's sounding like, ooh, these strategies are so long winded, they're never going to help. This is how you become successful. This is how you become the man or the woman that you want to be because all of this compounds onto each other. And when you sit there and you think about, well, what did I do to become this? It's right in front of you. And I promise you, if you've been writing it down, you can see exactly,
Yeah.
oh, I was on class, I was in class on time every day. I asked one more question every day. I stayed 1 minute later. I challenged myself to do one more push-up, to run that relay 1 second faster. That compounds over time, and then before you know it, you're like, whoa, I exceeded my goal. I said I just wanted to get a B in this class, and I ended up getting an A.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't think I'd ever pass math, and I've got the highest score on every exam. You can't get that kind of confidence if you're not challenging yourself, right?
Exactly.
So as we lead into that third step, it's it's almost like I'm setting this up to where I want you to envision who you want to become. And golly, I mean, true admission here, I that is something that never came to fruition for myself until I got to college.
Mhm.
So if there is a good piece of information that I wish I could go back in time and speak into my elementary self is,
Yeah.
hey man, while you're sitting there, might be picking your boogers and like
That's
eating
truth.
eating the glue, like, because it tastes really good. I don't even know why they make that stuff so edible. You really got to be thinking about, like, what do you want to become? I think that's always a question that's always asked to students. Like, what do you want to grow into? What do you want, like, what's the person that you're actually working for?
Yeah.
What do you dream? What do you want to become? What's your dream profession?
Yeah.
You want to do what your parents are doing. You want to be a teacher, right? You want to be a leader in some way, but if you're not focusing on that and trying to gain attention, like where your attention goes, so that's where like your energy is flowing into, and that is how you grow and develop into being the best version of yourself with these small little nuggets.
Absolutely. And I think, giving again, the students that opportunity to dream and to think about what do I really want to do? And this is the fun time, right? When they're younger and they're like, I'm going to be an astronaut and I want to do this and I want to do that. And that's awesome. I think maybe, and then, checking maybe every semester, giving them that opportunity again to share that. I think of one of our students, he really struggles with his behavior, family situation, all of that. But he does still aspire. Like he wants to be an engineer, he wants to be a pilot. And it's like getting them to think, like, well, buddy, like, it's not going to happen if you're not in class, or if, you're being aggressive towards your peers or what, like, that's not going to help you reach these goals and be who you want to be. And of course, sometimes that's hard, for kids to realize that, but knowing, okay, you've talked about this, this is what you've dreamed about. Again, it's back to how can we get there? What are the steps? Is my behavior gonna help me get there? Or is this really gonna bring it down? And granted, behavior's communication, right?
Yeah,
And sometimes they're just communicating they have so much emotional and mental weight on them
right,
that
right,
they can't see that future, right? They're again in survival mode. So I think it's just constantly reminding them again, like you said, we need to believe in them first.
right.
Hopefully it's actually the parents, the family that believes in them first.
That's where it starts.
That's where ideally it should be, but the reality is it's not always. So when they're in school and they're coming to your class, they're coming from this broken place. And now all of a sudden, you, as the teacher, are like, dude, I believe in you.
Yeah,
Dude, I know you can do this. Yeah, it is hard. The kids are all learning new stuff. And I think it goes back to again, like you said, we're all in this together. Everybody's learning the same thing at the same time, and it's going to be hard. It is a challenge. And to remind them also, like, guys, this is all new for you. So
yeah,
of course it's going to be hard. You're stretching your brain, you're growing those brain cells to get this, and it's okay that it's hard, but we still have to do it. And I think that's one thing some of the students, especially the ones that I work, like, it's too hard. I can't do it.
yeah.
And, and it's just easier, of course, to give up, right? And so I'm always telling them, like, I don't want to hear can't. I want to hear I will try. Or, I'll do it again or try again or whatever. I'm like, can't, it's a bad word. Like, I don't want to hear can't.
That I'm
And
gonna put.
then I have to give them
Yeah,
hugs and then everything's fine. But
I'm gonna push into something you said right there, Diane, because it's very like the psychology that goes into that
yeah,
word can't, and even you utilize try. I'm like in a lot of my clients, and certainly in my patients, like there are two words I don't ever let them say, and it's like I can't do something and I try to do something
yeah,
because both put a limit on your potential. You especially at this age, right? You have no idea what your potential is, and you have
right.
truly no idea on what you can do. So why would you ever put a limitation on something for you? Because
Yeah,
what you're thinking is what you become, in a
right,
sense. So if I
right.
tell myself I can't do math, I can't do math, I can't do math,
Yeah,
hey, surely enough, guess what happens? Your brain is always going to be in that state of I can't get
yeah,
past this roadblock.
right.
So like just make an attempt, right? Like trying is having the intention of failing. And while I'm not saying failing is bad, because failing is
Right.
very necessary to get through in life. It's you don't try to tie your shoe. I guess maybe at that age, I didn't even tie my shoe. I had zip ups, like the little, like the light latches, because I I lacked the skill of doing it, right?
Well, it's
But
Velcro.
yeah, there it is. I don't even know if they still make those shoes these days.
Yeah, they do.
See, there you go.
They
That's a
do.
simple solution for me. I said, well, I can't tie my shoes, so I'm gonna have to. I still have to have on shoes, so I have to find some way to how to walk around here. But it's that notion of like, well, you don't. You just make the attempt. You just do it, right? There's either you do it or you don't do it, and then you deal with the repercussions of those actions. So it's how are we instilling this mindset? Like, are we stealing this mindset in the students of nobody believes in you, you don't believe in yourself, so it's never going to work out. That's not the way we should be seeing things. And it's
Right.
even if nobody believes in you, I believe in you, but that's not going to be enough to get you to the next level. And it's I want to build autonomy and confidence and competence in that student to where, oh, I believe in myself. And it
Yeah.
was thanks to how you believed in me. And I'm called to like how many times that you have to like pull my head out of the sand when I was like, man, I'm not going to make it to college. Like, this makes no sense. And even in college, how many times do you have to slap me around and be like, okay, hey, look, you're already in college. Like, you've gotten past what the part you said you can't do. So now you're doing it. So keep pushing yourself further. And I'm not standing on some mount talking to the youth right now. Like, I'm still in the trenches with you all. It's just as hard for me to do all this and put this into practice as it's going to be for these students. But I promise you that what I'm saying gives you the confidence that you want to be and how you grow. And we're only talking about like the small steps that you can do in the beginning of the try to set yourself up for a lot more success in the later part of the semester for you.
Right.
But that's like, that's very, that's taught, right? That's the community. That has to be reflected from the teachers and the staff of
Right.
building that level of confidence in the student. And don't let them get down on themselves. Hey, it's good to be frustrated that you messed up on that exam. It's good to be like disgruntled that you didn't get what you wanted, but that doesn't mean you can't do something. That just means you have to search and find a different avenue, right, on how to unlock that roadblock for you. You should never, especially at that age, you should never be telling yourself you can't do something. You should never be stopping something because you're not good at it. Like, press into
Right.
that, really dig into that. And that's why I said challenge yourself. And if it comes at the end of that, like you really are like, man, you know what? I tried, I tried Mario. Like it is just not in my cards. Okay, but you learned something great about yourself in that failure, right?
Right.
Now you can etch that off your board. But I promise you, reading gets easier the more you do it. Math gets easier the more you do it. Talking to your professors and being a great student gets easier the more you put that effort into it. You just have
Absolutely.
to make the attempt more than just trying. That
Right.
actually,
It's sorry, going back
no,
to
you're
again
okay.
like that intentionality,
Yeah.
right? And the intentionality of making the goals, getting those steps, because ultimately you're growing and we want to see, your students growing and learning and stretching and challenging themselves. Hold on one sec. Okay.
There's this notion of accountability almost is like what we're talking about for these like the teacher to the students and how that accountability is beget by the discipline of you doing these tasks over and over, right? And that tier, that relationship is how you build that confidence in the students, right? Hey, thanks to this goal we have on the board, I'm holding you accountable because I want to see you achieve this, right?
Right.
So now that student has to show discipline, or you temper their discipline because they don't know. These kids are so young, they don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do on how do
Right.
I have to get this A in this class? Like, what do I have to do to score better here? And then you as the leader, right, have to be like, these are the steps and how to do it. And
Yes.
then And then you give them the space to step into that, because autonomy is a very big spot that we are losing. And it's terrifying to see that we're losing this notion of not allowing people to have the choice and the freedom to step into that on their own. And hey, look, this is coming from somebody who doesn't have kids, so take that for what you will. I mean, at some point you have to allow your kids that active choice, because that's honestly how you get compliance, is allowing your kids to be like, oh, hey, I know you want me to be a better kid, but I want to be the better kid, right? I have to want it because now I have
Right.
motivation to actually show up and meet that expectation. So this, without that small piece, that small reflective piece that says, hey, take this. I now see this in you. Show me you can get there. And then I
Yes.
guarantee you it looks so different. It looks so beautiful for these kids. It's I mean, with that, we could roll right into part three, because I think this is probably my favorite tip of the last two. And this is more so focused on how what are you building for yourself? And that's sorry, I'm gonna let this play and go by so you guys can hear me. You have your values down. You are talking about your goals, and now I've taught you how to be disciplined. But are you checking in with yourself? And that is the biggest wellness tip I can give you, is when are you making time to sit back and be like, ooh, how am I doing? How did I do? Is this working for me? Am I struggling? And am I being real with myself about the things that are going on around me? You touched on a very good notion earlier, and that was like some of these students are coming from such troubled backgrounds.
Hmm.
My heart breaks for them, because in those situations, I don't know if anybody's even asking how they are, and let alone, I don't even know if anybody's
Right.
taught them how to ask that question of how they are. And we're not, the burden that they're carrying emotionally is very vexing. It's very taxing. And as a community, we need to be like fully better on how to cultivate compassion, right? Because
Yes.
that's, that's, that's learned behavior, right? It's taught, it's not caught, which is
Yeah.
very nurturing. That's what I would ask you, is like, in the morning, before you get up and start going about your day, how am I? And then sit with that for a second. As
Right.
much as you want to be racing around, as much as you want to be doing things, but check in with yourself every day, every week, every month, especially if you don't have anybody else doing it for you, is you have to show up for yourself. And I promise you, you are in an environment of everybody who cares about you. You have to see it, but you have to care about yourself enough to allow that healing and that love to embrace you, and know that everything's going to be all right.
That's
If you got
good.
to want it to. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm trying not to tear up right now. One, because I'm in public and I don't want my classmates seeing me cry, but two, it's like that is such a beautiful message I want like reverberated to these kids, and that goes at any point along the semester, but that's any point in your life. You have to check yourself on that.
For
You can't
sure.
be the best version of yourself if you're not even aware of that you're being the worst version of yourself, because you didn't take the time to reflect on how you are showing up,
Right.
regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah, and that's definitely a tough one. But I think it's definitely worth learning for sure. And this could be part of the SEL that they do in class, right? The social emotional learning in
Mm,
being able to, like you said, have that time to check in. We usually have like the emotional charts. Most classes will have students kind of check in. They usually have like little magnets and they can
Super
put their
cool.
magnet like, okay, well, I'm in the red zone right now, or I'm in the blue zone.
Yeah,
We have the, what is it? Red, green, yellow, and blue. But for the most part, we have the kids check in, but then we don't really actually talk to the students after that or give them an
right,
opportunity to really express, this is why I'm feeling this way. And I
right.
like that's the hard thing, right? The teachers are in that position of teaching that social emotional learning. And also, obviously, you have your academics that you have to get done, and everything's like on a schedule, but it is so valuable. Again, you're giving those students that voice. You're letting them know that you see them, that you hear them, and that you value them by letting them express. And again, it doesn't have to be, 45 minutes of your day. I've seen teachers be like, okay, well, we're going to have like three kids share how they're feeling, whatever it is. And then the next day, so they're still doing it and involving it, but the kids know, okay, well, my turn is tomorrow, so then I can express whatever. But obviously, if students are really struggling with something, they know you as the adult and the teacher in the classroom that they can come to you, that you're a safe, caring adult for them to be
Yeah,
able to express whatever they're feeling. And so again, it's setting that example, giving that a little bit of time for your student to express that. And then if they need more, like hopefully you have a mental health team, you have a school counselor, a school social worker, school psychologist, even admin, anybody else. I'm not really sure who you may have in your building that can help, but I hope and pray that you do have other support that you can turn to for that student. So it's again setting them up for success, giving them the tools, being that example. What else do you want to add, Mario?
man, I you touched on that so beautifully. It's letting the students develop that emotional maturity on themselves, or at least start that pathway towards it. Because if you can't learn how to communicate or express how you're feeling, especially at this pivotal age, it shows up much later in life as a
Right.
whole social distortion. You lose the ability to communicate, and we're social beings. We have to learn how to
Yeah.
communicate, and that is like in and where I'm seeing in a lot of my clients is they lose this ability to actually talk about themselves. And when you give them the space to talk about themselves, it's missing. They
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's ever sat down with me and looked me in the eyes and has been like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
And then let them respond. It's like you need somebody to
Right.
have an active. It's like I always need to have somebody else talking over me to tell me how I feel. And in reality, like I should have the freedom and the flexibility to express that. And that it's a pivotal skill that I'm telling you now, and I'm speaking to the youth, and I know the parents that hear this are like, yeah, I hear that so much, but like it's staggering to see why we are losing the ability to communicate and express, or even feel the shame to even be saying like, I don't feel good today, and this is why.
Yeah.
And I know the tips that I've given today, like, have all been around how can we develop your mindset in these first few weeks to be successful. And I'll leave with like on a little higher note. I'll give you guys something you can do to like challenge yourself physically here, but really sit with these principles. I, these skills are as vitally important to your success, not only this semester, but for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But they are going to make you such a better individual for the people who need you in their lives. Your friends are going to need you to be able to be like, how can I hold you accountable? Are you working towards your goals and what have you done towards that?
Yeah.
Hey, How are you? Because I care about you as a friend and I'm here to listen to how you are. And it's okay that you're not doing okay. I want to sit with that with you.
Right.
Which is wild that we as a social species are losing that ability. We won't talk about why because like we don't need to go down that rabbit hole for the behavior class, but in light news, to sprucing this up, my fourth tip. I know I said I was going to give you guys three, but I'm having such a great time with Diane, so thank you guys for the time here. My fourth tip to you all: let's learn how to move. Let's you can't keep yourself cooped up and be expected to be the best version of yourselves, and whether that is you learning how to get up and exercise or be more active in physical education or take a walk after every meal or even like when you get to recess. I'm thinking about myself back to what I did during recess. I sat because that was all I knew how to do, right? And so now I'm thinking about how that behavior has transformed over time. Yeah, I could have accessed more creativity. I could have expressed more of like my mental capacity had I just been moving. And it wasn't until I got into fourth and fifth grade that I even started liking like physical education. And man, yeah, that's a whole another story.
Right.
Based off of where I'm at now in my life, you couldn't even tell that I was that kid. But you, and like the teachers and the parents listening to this, the data is showing movement is very vital in helping not only students, but just humans encode information a lot better. You get your best thoughts when you're moving and you're walking around, not when you're sitting. There's something about that locomotion that's feeding
Right.
into the brain that allows you to ruminate on things. And I mean, if full full pan here, I'm stepping outside of my realm. If I had a class and I knew that we were going to be in school from golly 8 to 4, 8 to 5, I would be doing, hey, we're going to take 10 minutes out of this hour and we're just going to walk around. And when we walk around, we're going to get sun exposure because like that's a cheeky little step five. Like, hey, don't be afraid of the sun. The sun is there to help you, not to hurt you. And I
Right.
promise you, like the benefits of having sunlight is tremendous on somebody's health and their mood. But just that little walk, that little break from sitting down can shift everybody's day. Not only yours as a teacher, but also the students. I guarantee you, they're riled up. They want to move around, and that's not going to take anything from your lesson plan away. It actually might enhance it because I'm going to come back into class and I'm going to be ready to engage. I'm going to be less riled up. I'm going to clear my throat for a second. Sorry, guys. It's going to allow you to be better and present
Yeah.
in that moment. And it is such a tiny hack because it doesn't require any resources. It just requires you getting rallying your troops and go, oh, let's go outside. Let's take a little walk. Parents, hey, I know we just ate dinner. Let's go walk around the block for a second, right? Kids, right? My youths. It starts with you and you have to walk that, right? Hey, can I actually transform? Is what Mario's saying actually better? And like, check me on that. Take a little walk. I
Right.
guarantee you. Don't you can bring your phone with you, but don't be staring into the screen. Like put on some music on in the background or put on a podcast if that tickles the fancy, but like don't be scrolling through social media or trying to play a game on the walk. Like be in your thoughts so you can sort through what's useful for yourself and what's not and what isn't. So and then watch what happens when you come back from that walk. Guarantee you, you're going to be a better version of yourself. You're going to be thinking more clearly. You're going to be able to access more of what God has blessed you with just from that small step.
Yep.
How'd you do?
Absolutely. I completely agree. And those are like little things, right? We're not suggesting to like revamp your whole learning schedule and blah, blah, blah. It's just putting in these little tidbits every day, and you will begin to see the changes in your students. giving them that movement. I mean, sometimes it's even just getting up and going to a different table or having uh no, I can't think of the different sections of your room
Mm,
for different things. And
yep,
so now you're rotating, having the kids move around, even just those
yeah.
little changes. Or you're sitting on the carpet here. Oh, well, now you're going to switch and we're going to go here, or we're going to, go visit another class. I don't know. Something to
Wow.
incorporate that movement is huge and makes a huge difference because and you begin to see, like you said, your students when they're all like starting to move around and now they're all like, picking on each other and they're doing this and they're doing that. And it's like, okay, they're trying to tell you
It's
their
time to
body
move.
is ready to move. Like,
Yeah.
let's get up. But unfortunately, sometimes, now the teachers, you're just, telling them to stop or don't do that or don't do this or don't do
Yep.
that. So now half your lesson is redirection and it's not helping because they need to move, like they need to
Yeah.
get up. And whether it is just standing up, I've seen, teachers just do that, standing up, do a couple movements, do a little exercises right there. And then, have them sit down, whatever it is that's next. But just those little changes incorporated in the classroom will make a huge difference. So, Mario, any other last parting words that you want to share?
I am wishing you all a very successful and impactful semester. I think you follow these steps and you continue to believe in yourself. Just in the next 4 months, you're going to see a transformation of yourselves. And you don't have to send gratitude or thanks back to me. Pay it to yourself because that's why we do this. That's why we're in the space that we are in. That's why we want to continue to build light in this world is to see you evolve into the best version of yourselves so we can all make manifest the glory that's actually out here for us. So I thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Diane, for this. This is immensely grateful for me.
Well, thank you, Mario. I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing and the impact that you already have with so many people. And I know it's just going to keep growing as you continue to grow and challenge yourself to be even better. All right, loves, I will see you. Mario will be back in October as you kick off. Actually, we didn't touch on that. Do you want to kick that off really quick? Give a little
Oh
blur.
yeah, we can give you guys a little sneak synopsis. How did we totally miss out on the whole bio for this? Audience has been like, who is this guy? Hey everybody, my name is Mario D. Lodge. I am owner of Logical Wellness, a wellness entity that incorporates mindset, nutrition, hormones, and personal training. And in the next year, we'll be adding on the notch of chiropractic into that brand ourselves. So we're built to just usher in a new wave of wellness, as you all just got a good synopsis of, on giving you guys good little tips on how you can foster a better life for yourself. And that's not just physically, as I just listed, it's also mentally, emotionally. I also do spiritual touchings on my Manifest Mondays on my Instagram if you guys need to keep in touch or get yourself uplifted.
Awesome. I will have that info in the show notes, and we will get more info in October when you actually kick off this new business for you. And I'm super excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we will see you next week.
Ciao, everyone.
Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. And if I have encouraged you, motivated you to continue to learn, to support your students, even better, to help them strive in your classroom, please leave a review, hit that subscribe button so that others can see they can learn and grow here as well. Thank you.